Genesis chapter 4, Cain and Abel. The man had intercourse with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. I have acquired a man with the help of Yahweh, she said. She gave birth to a second child, Abel, the brother of Cain. Now Abel became a shepherd and kept flocks, while Cain tilled the soil. Time passed, and Cain brought some of the produce of the soil as an offering for Yahweh, while Abel, for his part, brought the firstborn of his flock and some of their fat as well. Yahweh looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but he did not look with favor on Cain and his offering, and Cain was very angry and downcast. Yahweh asked Cain, "Why are you angry and downcast? If you are doing right, surely you ought to hold your head high. But if you are not doing right, sin is crouching at the door, hungry to get you. You can still master him." Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let us go out." And while they were in the open country, Cain set on his brother Abel and killed him. Yahweh asked Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I do not know," he replied. "Am I my brother's guardian?" "What have you done?" Yahweh asked. "Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Now be cursed and banned from the ground that has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood at your hands. While you till the ground, it will no longer yield up its strength to you. A restless wanderer you will be on earth." Cain then said to Yahweh, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Look, today you drive me from the surface of the earth. I must hide from you and be a restless wanderer on earth. Why, whoever comes across me will kill me." "Very well, then," Yahweh replied. "Whoever kills Cain will suffer a sevenfold vengeance." So Yahweh put a mark on Cain so that no one coming across him would kill him. Cain left Yahweh's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain had intercourse with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to Enoch. He became the founder of a city and gave the city the name of his son, Enoch. Enoch fathered Irad, and Irad fathered Mehujael. Mehujael fathered Methujael, and Methujael fathered Lamech. Lamech married two women. The name of the first was Ada, and the name of the second was Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal. He was the ancestor of tent-dwelling herdsmen. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the ancestor of all who played the harp and the pipe. As for Zillah, she gave birth to Tubal-Cain. He was the ancestor of all who work copper and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, "Hear my voice. Wives of Lamech, listen to what I say. I killed a man for wounding me, a boy for striking me. Sevenfold vengeance for Cain, but 77-fold for Lamech." Adam had intercourse with his wife, and she gave birth to a son, whom she named Seth. "Because God has granted me another offspring," she said, "in place of Abel, since Cain has killed him." A son was also born to Seth, and he named him Enosh. This man was the first to invoke the name Yahweh. This is the roll of Adam's descendants, and this is Genesis chapter 5. On the day that God created Adam, he made him in the likeness of God. Male and female he created them. He blessed them and gave them the name man when they were created. When Adam was 130 years old, he fathered a son in his likeness after his image, and he called him Seth. Adam lived for 800 years after the birth of Seth, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Adam lived for 930 years. Then he died. When Seth was 105 years old, he fathered Enosh. After the birth of Enosh, Seth lived for 807 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Seth lived for 912 years. Then he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, he fathered Kenan. After the birth of Kenan, Enosh lived for 815 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Enosh lived for 905 years, then he died. When Kenan was 70 years old, he fathered Mahalalel. After the birth of Mahalalel, Kenan lived for 840 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Kenan lived for 910 years. Then he died. When Mahalalel was 65 years old, he fathered Jared. After the birth of Jared, Mahalalel lived for 830 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Mahalalel lived for 895 years. Then he died. When Jared was 162 years old, he fathered Enoch. After the birth of Enoch, Jared lived for 800 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Jared lived for 962 years, then he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he fathered Methuselah. Enoch walked with God. After the birth of Methuselah, Enoch lived for 300 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Enoch lived for 365 years. Enoch walked with God, then was no more, because God took him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he fathered Lamech. After the birth of Lamech, Methuselah lived for 782 years, and he fathered sons and daughters. In all, Methuselah lived for 969 years, then he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he fathered a son. He gave him the name Noah, because he said, "Here is one who will give us, in the midst of our toil and the laboring of our hands, a consolation out of the very soil that Yahweh cursed." After the birth of Noah, Lamech lived for 595 years and fathered sons and daughters. In all, Lamech lived for 777 years. Then he died. When Noah was 500 years old, he fathered Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Genesis chapter 6. When people began being numerous on earth, and daughters had been born to them, the sons of God, looking at the women, saw how beautiful they were, and married as many of them as they chose. Yahweh said, "My spirit cannot be indefinitely responsible for human beings, who are only flesh. Let the time allowed each be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and even afterwards, when the sons of God resorted to the women, and had children by them. These were the heroes of days gone by, men of renown. Yahweh said that human wickedness was great on earth, and that human hearts contrived nothing but wicked schemes all day long. Yahweh regretted having made human beings on earth, and was grieved at heart. And Yahweh said, "I shall rid the surface of the earth of the human beings whom I created, human and animal, the creeping things and the birds of heaven, for I regret having made them." But Noah won Yahweh's favor. This is the story of Noah. Noah was a good man, an upright man among his contemporaries, and he walked with God. Noah fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. God saw that the earth was corrupt and full of lawlessness. God looked at the earth. It was corrupt, for corrupt were the ways of all living things on earth. God said to Noah, "I have decided that the end has come for all living things, for the earth is full of lawlessness because of human beings. So I am now about to destroy them and the earth. Make yourself an ark out of resinous wood. Make it out of reeds and caulk it with pitch inside and out. This is how to make it. The length of the ark is to be 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a roof to the ark, building it up to a cubit higher. Put the entrance in the side of the ark, which is to be made with lower, second, and third decks. For my part, I am going to send the flood, the waters on earth, to destroy all living things, having the breath of life under heaven. Everything on earth is to perish. But with you I shall establish my covenant, and you will go abroad the ark, yourself, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives along with you. From all living creatures, from all living things, you must take 2 of each kind aboard the ark to save their lives with yours. They must be a male and a female. Of every species of bird, of every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that creeps along the ground, 2 must go with you so that their lives may be saved. For your part, provide yourself with eatables of all kinds, and lay in a store of them, to serve as food for yourself and them. Noah did this exactly as God commanded him. He did.